and welcome all of our special guests, the family members and friends of some of our standout scholars from the month of October. Thank you so much for joining us for this special October assembly. So, we have a special feature to our assembly today. Today's assembly is actually going to be hosted by Mrs. Naselli's second grade class. As a lot of you know, they have been helpers in our school all during the month of October. Members of the class have been coming down and making the morning announcements for us each morning, and I know we've all been looking forward to hearing their voices each morning. So a nice big round of applause for all of their work. Now, before we get too far into our assembly, I just want to take a minute and go over what it means to be an awesome audience here today. All right, so when we are an awesome audience, our hands and our bodies are to ourselves. We're not touching our neighbor or anybody else. Our eyes and our ears are focused on the speaker. That's me right now, but other people are going to be speaking during the assembly, so making sure that you're paying attention to who is speaking. Stay seated unless you're asked to stand, and raise a quiet hand if you need to be called on to speak. You can put your hands down, but excellent practice. All right, now I would like to call up Jordan and Xavier, and they will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Now I'd like to have Sierra Rattray and Anaya Dukes come on up and lead us in our 3B's pledge. All right, now during the month of October, all of our scholars and all of our classes have been taking a special focus on being responsible. And we have 3 scholars from Mrs. Naselli's class who are going to tell us a little bit about responsibility. And the first is Araya Robinson.
I showed responsibility this month by getting to school on time every single day.
Excellent. Next up, we have Liliana Jimenez.
Hi, Park Terrace, Elementary School. My name is Liliana Jimenez. I show responsibility this month by walking a kindergartner where she needed to be.
And Evan Lewis.
Hi, Park Terrace. My name is Evan Lewis. I show responsibility this month by helping our friend who spilled breakfast clean.
Help the friend clean up a breakfast. one more round of applause for Mrs. Naselli's class and their leadership with us this month. Now we will announce our Scholars of the Month for the month of October. In Mrs. Fiorillo's kindergarten class, Macy Sarton. Macy comes to school each day ready to learn. She's kind to her peers and is a great role model. She demonstrates our 3 B's every day. In Mrs. Miller's pre-K class, Connor Fitzgerald. Connor is doing an exceptional job showing his 3 B's in pre-K. He's respectful and helpful to everyone. In Miss Roberts' pre-K class, Hayden White. Hayden takes care of his own needs every day and is ready to help others when asked to do something. Hayden always responds quickly and is ready to take direction. In Miss DeFranco's kindergarten class, Trayvon Perry. Trey is a great scholar. He comes every day ready to learn. He's an active participant and always tries his best and a great helper. In Mrs. Wojtowski's kindergarten class, Julia Mustafa.
Let's go!
Julia goes above and beyond at being responsible in school. She comes to school prepared for the day and ready to learn. In Mrs. Wolf's kindergarten class, Helena Duteau. Helena is a role model scholar, ready to learn every day when she follows the class rules, eyes watching, ears listening, and body still. In Mrs. Jake's first grade class, Kinsley Skaninski. She is always ready to learn with a smile on her face. Kinsley demonstrates the 3 B's on a daily basis. In addition, she's kind and always willing to lend a hand. In Mrs. Mears' first grade class, Aria Allen. Aria is a pleasure to have in class. She comes to school every day with a smile and is ready to work. Aria is always lending a helping hand. In Miss Tracy's first grade class, Gunnar Rumrow. Gunnar is very responsible with his folder, makes sure to hand in important papers, and he takes care of his materials independently and always makes sure to catch up on missed work. He's responsible for himself and looks out for his peers. In Mrs. Wheaton's first grade class, Reed Islett. Reed shines every day in first grade. He's responsible with his materials, and you can always count on him to be following the 3 B's. He takes pride in his work and enjoys being at school. In Mrs. Pomeroy's class, Aiden Jones. Aiden is a respectful scholar. He is kind to his friends and uses his manners. He enjoys helping other scholars in the class when needed and has been a very good friend. In Mrs. Visco's class, Gabriel Wilson. Gabe has done an exceptional job showing kindness to his classmates. He's a great helper and a role model. He finishes his classwork on time and is always setting a good example. In Mrs. Cornell's class, Denisha Ford. Denisha comes to school each day with a smile on her face. She's very respectful and always does a great job following the 3 B's. Denisha is kind to everyone and is a great helper to her classmates. In Mrs. Barbosa's second grade class, Braden Frazier. Braden always participates and is engaged in classroom discussions and tasks. He's very responsible during independent work and gets all of his assignments complete. In Mrs. Naselli's second grade class, Araya Robinson. Araya has shown responsibility by coming to school on time and prepared daily. She finishes her classroom work independently. Okay, in Mrs. Tice's class, we have Samuel LaGrange. Samuel is a responsible scholar each and every day. He comes to school prepared and ready to learn. He is a great helper and role model. He finishes classwork timely and it is always done neatly. Samuel consistently follows the 3 B's. I am so proud of you. Keep up the good work. Thank you. All right, this is an award recognized by one of our reading teachers. A reading award goes out to Jackson Soto. It is a pleasure working with Jackson during our win time. He is an enthusiastic learner and always works extremely hard on his reading. Jackson always says that each part of our lesson is his favorite part. In Mrs. Etherton's second grade class, Luke Young. Luke comes to school prepared and ready to learn. He can always be found following the 3 B's. His work is as exemplary as it's always neat and carefully done. Luke is very trustworthy as well. A reading shout-out award from Mrs. Eric goes to Jewel Rosa. Jewel comes to school with a big smile on her face. She consistently follows the 3 B's and works hard. Her hard work is paying off and she's making wonderful progress as a reader. A math recognition award from Mrs. Sana Moore, Brantley Smith. Brantley works hard all of the time, and that effort has paid off. He has made lots of growth in math this year. He is also responsible for his materials, is always helping to organize and put away the math materials, always respectful and responsible. And our final Scholar of the Month, a reading award from Mrs. Pratt, goes to Alexis Bedell. Alexis is a pleasure to work with during WIN classes. She is responsible and always tries her best. She comes to the group ready to learn and works hard the entire time. Let's give one more round of applause to all of our Scholars of the Month.
Good morning, everyone. Not only did we want to recognize those who received the Scholar of the Month awards, but I also wanted to recognize those scholars today that were visited by the B Squad this month for going above and beyond following the 3 B's. The scholars that were recognized were Braden Young and Giovanni Branch, and you can see their picture on the slide over here. And they were visited right in their classrooms by the B Squad. And I wanted to share with you why these scholars were chosen to receive these awards. Raiden was nominated because he walked over to a classmate and gave him a card that he had earned in his class. And he gave that card to a classmate to cheer his classmate up that was very upset. Raiden went above and beyond in being a great friend. Nice job, Raiden. Giovanni was nominated because he is always a great example for his classmates. He always works hard and finishes his tasks and classwork on time. When others are distracted or need help, he has shown the ability to stay focused and do his best. He's also very kind and helps his friends when they need it. His effort and good behavior show everyone in the class how to be responsible and do their best work. Nice job, Giovanni. So congratulations again to both those scholars, and the B Squad is looking forward to visiting more scholars this month that have gone above and beyond.
Now we'll have our special area recognition awards. If we could start with Miss Bombard and our library awards.
Good morning, Terrace. How are we? Oh, I love it. You guys are ready for me. All right. Now, we've been working on being responsible in the library by putting our materials away, sitting nice and quiet while we read stories, and pushing our chairs in, and keeping those shelves organized, because you guys are my helpers. Without you, I can't do my job. All right, first up for being recognized as responsible is Ms. Roberts' class. For kindergarten, we have Mrs. Weptrowski's class. For first grade, we have Mrs. Wheaton's class. For second grade, we have Mrs. Tice's class. And for the K2 classroom is Mrs. Davis's class. Now, this next award is for those who bring their books back on time. Oh, and I'm excited for this class because they have worked so hard about this. And their teacher got a little something too in the box, so check for it. Mrs. Miller's class.
We'll have Mrs. Laporte come on up and share with us the recognition for art and music.
All right, for our second grade class, we have Miss Etherton's class. For first grade, we have Miss Wheaton's class. For kindergarten, we have Miss DeFranco's class. For our pre-K class, we have Mrs. Miller's class. And for awards for music. For our K-2 classroom, we have Mrs. Pomeroy's class. For pre-K, we have Mrs. Miller's class. For kindergarten, we have Mrs. Wachowski's class. For first grade, we have Mrs. Mears' class. And for second grade, we have Mrs. Barbosa's class. Great job, everybody.
All right, Mrs. Reslick, it's time for the golden sneakers.
All right, good morning. Okay, so our first and second grade classes have been working on tying their shoes, right? For our other classes, we are working on doing things and being independent, such as putting our shoes on. When the weather gets colder, we're going to put our coats on and zip up and button our coats by ourselves. So, this month, for the Golden Sneaker Trophy for pre-K, we have Mrs. Miller's class. And for kindergarten, we have Mr. Franco's class. How about that? For our K-2 classes, we have Mrs. Cornell's class. For our first grade class, with 3 tires, Mrs. Jakes' class. And for second grade, with the big 9 tires, we have Mrs. Tice's class. Congratulations.
All right, let's take a moment, take a little stretch. I know we've been sitting and listening to a lot of our classmates being recognized. Take a deep breath. Remember, an assembly is a time for a zero voice. All right, every day of school is an important time to learn. It's a time to spend with friends. It's a time to have wonderful breakfast and lunch here in our school cafeteria, to learn from our teachers and our classmates. And every single month, we challenge all of our scholars to be here in school every single day. They are well enough to be here. Now, during the first quarter, we're going to be doing an extra special reward for our scholars who have taken that challenge seriously and have been absent during the first quarter. That'll be at the beginning of November. We'll take a look at that. Who've been absent fewer than 5 days during the entire first quarter. I will be hosting a special dessert party for those scholars who took that challenge to be here when they're well enough to be here very seriously during these first months of school. Now we're going to repeat that challenge each quarter. So if you don't get it this quarter, maybe you'll be in the running for the next one. So I'm looking forward to hosting those dessert parties for all of my scholars who are absent fewer than 5 days. All right, now it's come to the time where we announce our perfect attendance for the month of October. So we're going to pass our microphone around and have each teacher announce the names of the scholars who had perfect attendance this month. And it was a lot, a very big number. So when you hear your name called, please stand up and remain standing so we can honor all of our perfect attendance scholars when you hear your name. So wait, listen carefully. When you hear your name, that's the time to stand.
If you hear your name.
In this conference class, we have Adeline, Joseph, Aiden, Isaac, and Sam. Stand up.
In this note pre-K, we have Gabriel, Maisie, Jameson, Odin, Alora, Dean, Graham, Demi, Landon, Jojo, and Piper.
In this Roberts class, we have Sebastian, Jason, Emma, Ember, Nash, Alaric, Brooke, Ellie, and Hayden.
In Mr. Franco's class, we have Lily, Amelia, Riley, Jameson, Faith, Athena, Sterling, Trey, Anna, Aria, and Bella. In Mrs. James' class, we have Sophie, Talia, Adeline, John, Catalina, Kinsley, Lillian, and Dominic. In Miss Fiorillo's class, we have Emmeline, Savannah, Madeline, Caleb, Michaela, Macy, Wyatt, and Temperance. In Miss Jason's class, we have Alexis, Mia, Aaliyah, Kimberly, Jalen, Gunnar, Dylan, Jason, and Ellie. In Mrs. Mears' class, we have Brandon, Sarah, Grayson, Elena, Liam, and Brayden. In Mrs. Wolf's class, we have Nova, Echo, Asher, Cora, Oliver, Abel, Aaliyah, Harper, and Havana. In Mrs. Wachowski's class, we had Johnny, Meadow, Elena, Omari, Julia, Aiden, Morgan, Jackson, Marion, Aria, Ronan, Summer, and Ollie. In Gabriel's class, we have Bonnie, Mike, Gabriel Hume, and Andre.
All right, look around. Look at all these scholars standing. These are all of our scholars. Almost our entire school of scholars had perfect attendance during the month of October. Let's give them a nice big round of applause. Challenge. At the beginning of the year, we kicked off the year with a challenge to earn 20,000 Buzzy Bucks as a school before the end of the year. And that seems like a lot to earn, but during the month of September, we have already earned 1,849. Our total is not in yet for the month of October, but when you go to lunch, you can see that our big thermometer in the hallway is already colored to show our progress on that Buzzy Buck Challenge. When and if we reach our goal, we will have a special school-wide celebration. So keep up the good work. Keep earning Buzzy Bucks from your teachers and in the cafeteria and all of the parts of the school day so that we can reach that challenge very soon. During the month of November, our school-wide focus will be on safety. Thinking about ways that each and every one of us can be safe in school, in our community, and in our homes. And our hosts for the month of November will be Mrs. Barbosa's class. So we're looking forward to hearing some representatives from Mrs. Barbosa's class on our announcements during November. And then we'll have some student leaders from her class helping with our assembly at the end of November. I always want to end our assemblies by reminding everyone to make choices to be kind. Making a choice to be kind is always helping us to be respectful and responsible and safe. Now, normally we end with our school song, but we're going to mix it up a little bit because we're talking so much about being kind at Park Terrace. We're going to end with a kindness song. It's the song Kindness is a Muscle, and it's a song that we've done in music class with Mrs. Macron. If you'd like to stand and do some dancing in your spot, you may. Terrace. I'm going to ask that our Scholars of the Month here in the front remain seated for a group photo. Everyone else can begin dismissal, starting with our pre-K classes. Please look to your teachers for directions.